Scallops are one of those things that are so delicate and wonderful, absolutely elevated. They may seem a bit daunting, but they're not. They're really simple to do. So in this video, I'm gonna show you a couple of quick and easy techniques to take your flavor game to the next level. I'm gonna show you guys, it's basically like think of it like a caprese salad, but with crispy, beautiful little seared scallops on the top. CJ's excited, Ethan's excited, I'm excited. Let me show you how to do it. Today I am using these beautiful large sea scallops. You can see they've got this great, beautiful texture, a lot of surface area. Now this right here, this is gonna be the winner later on. But before we get to that, because these only take 60 seconds per side, I mean, it's not a ton of time, so we wanna get everything else done first. So we mentioned earlier we're gonna do a caprese style salad. So I have fresh mozzarella. We're gonna do some really thin little slices here. Just nice, thin slices. And don't worry if they're not completely uniform in shape and size, because we're gonna torch them later. Makes you excited, doesn't it, CJ? I love using the torch. Oh yeah. Let's do one more. One more. All right, that looks good. All right, we have our cheese done. Let's put this back over here. Now we also have a tomato. Now I am a big fan of going to farmers markets or even at your grocery store. Find the fun tomatoes. So we can do, like, see how beautiful that is? It's not perfectly round, but it has all this beautiful texture. It just is gonna make our plating a bit nicer later on. So we're gonna do some thin slices. We're only gonna use one per plate, but let's go ahead and give ourselves two to work with. All right, beautiful. We've got our tomato, we've got our cheese. We're almost there. You guys realize this? We're almost there. We're almost done. Halfway done. Let's talk about tapenade. I've got some Kalamata olives. Now, if you're not an olive fan, you're weird. They're delicious and wonderful. I love these Kalamata olives. They have such a bright, beautiful, salty, briny flavor. We're also gonna go with some of these capers over here. Now, capers are a lot like olives. The flavor's a little bit different, but we still have that salty brine flavor. Now here I have some of these sun-dried tomatoes. These are really, really fantastic. Fantastic flavor. We're gonna add, let's do two of these. We'll do two of these. And the last little bit, I've got some garlic. Now let's pull this off. We're gonna pull off 1 clove of garlic and add that to our mix. Now we're gonna chop. Essentially what we're looking for is a really fine mince. We want that beautiful texture. So I want tiny pieces. You could do this in a food processor if you'd like to, but it's way more fun to do it by hand. I feel like you add a little bit more of yourself to the mix. Something I like to do at this point is we've got this beautiful texture. Ethan, you see how beautiful this texture is? It's not super fine. I'm gonna separate some of it off to the side, about half. Now I'm gonna take this half and I'm gonna run my knife through it even more to get almost like a paste, really fine, and then mix the two together. This just gives us some spreadability while maintaining some of that texture. That looks lovely. We're gonna mix these two back together. Now we're not quite finished, because something I like to do when I do this separate, I like to take a bit of lemon. So the lemon is gonna give us this beautiful aromatic flavor, but I only want the zest. Here, if you wanna take one end off, it makes it easier to cut. So I'm gonna go right down the side with my knife, real thin, and we just want that zest off of the end. We don't need a ton. A little bit goes a long way. So once we cut it off just like that, give that a little julienne, long, fine strips. Just like that. That looks good. Now we're gonna mix that in, and a little bit of basil. Now basil's gonna add another layer of aromatic, wonderful flavor. Before we get to this, I wanna do something fun with my oil. We're gonna head over to the griddle. CJ, I'm gonna show you a trick of how do I wanna say it? Make our olive oil delicious and tasty, shall we? So I'm gonna head over to my griddle. Today I'm on the 36-inch over here. Essentially what we're looking to do is flavor the oil with a bit of fresh oregano and some garlic. Now we're not gonna be eating this later. We just wanna flavor that oil. Oh, do you hear the popping? Let me get close, can you hear that? That's where it's at. So we're gonna let that oil sit. I'm gonna grab a spatula. We'll let this oil kind of sit in those flavors of the garlic. You can give your garlic a little smash if you want. There he is. Just like that. Oh, can you smell that already? Ethan, can you smell that? Now this is the oil we're gonna sear our scallops in just a minute. So let's let that go for just a bit. Back over here, let's finish up our tapenade. I've got some fresh basil now. Again, like the lemon, we don't need a ton because it's so flavorful. It's gonna add a really great pop. Now traditionally, a tapenade would have anchovies in it, but I don't wanna be adding anchovies. So I'm just gonna do a quick little chop here. This is kind of maybe somewhere between pesto by adding the basil. Probably a little pesto action. All right, now let's mix all this together. Oh, one more thing, CJ, look at this. See this bowl right here? So when you get sun-dried tomatoes, it comes in this beautiful oil. And there's a ton of flavor in that. Let's just show a little love here. Just a bit there. Now we're mixing everything on the board because we can, and we should, and we will. And we did. Look at that, stunning, beautiful colors, tons and tons of flavor. I love it, I love it. All right, let's scoot this off to the side and let's talk about scallops. Now these scallops are stunning. They're really big. Again, you wanna use, the bigger the better in my opinion. You really want that beautiful surface area. All right, so what we're gonna do, this is key. I'm gonna move this off. CJ, see right here, I'm gonna add a paper towel to my cutting board here. To get that beautiful sear on your scallops, you need a very dry surface. So I'm gonna take my scallops, I'm gonna put them down just like that. Take another paper towel, go right over the top, and make sure that they're nice and dry. Oh, my tapenade got on there. Really dry surface like that. That's gonna give us a fantastic sear. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna put this down. There's a little bit of that oil from those sun-dried tomatoes. You know, if we wanted to, we could add a touch more. Let's do that. Just a bit of that sun-dried tomato oil. Now we're mixing that with our herb oil that we have on the griddle. Yeah, just get in there on all sides. Oh yeah, this is fantastic. Now to this, we're gonna hit just a bit of salt over the tops. Yeah, and some pepper. I'm a big fan of this coarse cracked black pepper. Let's flip them into the other side. Now remember, we're gonna get a sear on these flat sides, so those are the most important sides. A little bit of pepper. Let's hit that with a bit of salt as well. Now don't go too heavy on the salt. Don't salt them as much as you normally would because there's a ton of salt in our tapenade over here. So we don't want to have a salty tapenade and a super salty scallop. So go nice and light. All right, let's check on our herbs over at the griddle. Now again, you can see that the herbs have kind of wilted a little bit, and that is okay because we're gonna get rid of them. Oh, check out that garlicky. Oh, crispy garlic. All right, this is looking good. So we can get the herbs off to the side, pull some of that oil back. Now I'm on high heat. Can you see that it's smoking? We definitely want high heat for this. The trick to cooking a good scallop is having that super high heat. So let's grab our scallops. We're gonna go right down. Oh yeah, that's what we want. That's what we wanna hear. And we'll let these go for just a few minutes. We only need about 60 to 90 seconds per side. What we're looking for is a beautiful golden crust and a fully cooked, tender scallop. Plating on this is really simple. This is all about simplicity, some texture. So I'm gonna start with a white plate. We're gonna go with our tomato right down on the bottom. Now you notice this is just a raw tomato, and that's okay because we're adding so much flavor to it. So we're gonna go with some of our tapenade over the top. I mean, honestly, right now, we're winning. That if we were done right now, I'd be a happy camper. I would be all right with that. But we have our beautiful mozzarella. So we're gonna throw a couple of pieces of mozzarella. This is kind of where that caprese comes in. I'm just letting it hang off the sides just a bit, just like that. Now, here's the fun part, CJ. We're gonna torch it. I want some meltiness, but I also want a little bit of color. So check this out. I'll lightly torch our cheese. You can start to see it get nice and melty. We want just a little bit of color, not much. Essentially what we're doing here is we're just adding another layer of a dynamic of flavor because mozzarella is fantastic. But once you start to toast it, once you see that caramelization start to happen, it becomes a completely different flavor. And that's what we're after. Some of that fat's coming out. Oh yeah. All right, that looks fantastic. All right, let's check on our scallops. Now we should be ready to flip. Let's see how we're doing here. Oh, gorgeous little babies. You see these things? All right, that is where we want to be with our scallop. We have that gorgeous little crust on the outside, and it only took about 60 seconds. That right there, that's what we're looking for. We want that caramelization, we want that crust, and again, it only took 60 seconds. We're just about finished. You as excited as I am? Because I'm really, really excited. All right, as soon as those are done, we're gonna get to plating. These look flawless. Let's bring all 4 over to our plate. Now this is something I like to do. You don't have to serve this many if you don't want to, but I think, let's do 3. Wanna do 3? And then 1 can be for me. Boom, just like that. I'll leave this guy. Oh, look at that. Had a little plate for us. Now the last little thing I wanna do is I'm gonna take some olive oil. We're just gonna do a light drizzle around the plate, just like that. And we're gonna hit it with a touch of balsamic glaze. Now you can buy this pre-made and it's really, really fantastic. Or you can make it yourself. It's really simple to do. Last little bit, touch of that black pepper just around the outside. If you really wanna take it to the next level and get cute, we could take a little bit of basil just to kind of show everybody what we're doing with those flavors. Pop that in there and a couple of capers maybe. Boom. Money. This is a really simple and easy way to take things that you're comfortable with, things that you know how to chop vegetables, you know what olives are. Hopefully you knew what capers were, but now you do know what they are. So it's just chopping up some delicious vegetables, letting each flavor shine on its own. Scallops were just salt and pepper and some of that beautiful herb and garlic oil. So easy, I can't wait any longer. It's time to take a bite of this. All right, here we go. Let's take this little guy right over here. Oh, look at that, so delicate. Let's go all the way through to the bottom and get some of that cheese. Oh, CJ, I know you don't love it, but come on, look at that beautiful, succulent, juicy scallop. We've got the tomato, the cheese, the tapenade. Well, let's get a little bit of that balsamic right there. That, my friends, that's an insane bite. That makes me happy, just makes me. It's bright, it's refreshing. That brininess from the olives and the capers does wonders for the scallops. And that little bit of lemon, it really starts to punch through at the end. This is elevated, this is delicate. If you want to take your flavor and presentation game to the next level, it's not difficult. All right, I've got to quit talking. More eating needs to happen. If you guys want this recipe and a ton more, go to blackstoneproducts.com. Make sure to check out CJ's First Cooking Show, Todd's show, Betty's show, but this is Cook, Eat, Repeat, where we help you become a better cook one recipe at a time. I gotta quit. There's too much deliciousness going on. See you guys in the next video.